Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking, here to do another review for you. The game that I am going to show you today is called Strife, Legacy of the Eternals. Strife is a two-player card game of battle, and the neat thing about it is that, there's lots of card games out there where you have your big deck of cards and you find, your little powers and your abilities and your warriors and your weapons and what have you. And then you have a hand of cards and you play them and you go back and forth. And, a lot of them bring different things to the table and they're fun for lots of different reasons. And what Strife does that's a little bit differently is that both players have the exact same deck. And so you have the exact same warriors that your opponent does. This isn't a situation where you have different factions or anything like that. And the neat thing about it is that the game is played completely open, meaning that if I want to see your hand, you have to show me which warriors you have in your hand. If I want to go through your discard pile, I get to see what you've discarded. And so there's a big bluff and counter bluff aspect because of the fact that since everything is open knowledge, yeah, you have combinations on the cards, but there's this cool little thing where it's like, is my opponent going to play that card? If so, maybe I should play this. But then if he's going to play that, then maybe I should play this. And, well, if he thinks I'm going to play this because I think he's going to play that, then I better play this. And so there's this weird little think-out-think going on that I actually really enjoy. In a weird way, it kind of reminded me of a card game that I really enjoy called Yomi. Just kind of, it's not really a real good direct comparison at all. But I got the same feeling, the same neat kind of tension, kind of bluffing feeling that I got when I played that game. So, take that as you will. I mean, it's just, so if you played that game and you wonder, like, how it might feel to play this game, then you might be able to, understand that a little bit. But regardless, let me show you how to play Strife, since there's only, each person only gets, 10 cards, and you're playing them. It won't take long to explain, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you exactly why I've been digging on this game, especially with my lunch hours with my buddy Joel lately. So, alright, cool. This is Strife, the Legacy of the Eternals, and what you're going to see right when you get the game set up. Each person gets their deck of warriors that they'll be using. You have a location deck, and you put 3 cards off to the side. The one that's furthest away is always the location you'll be fighting over, and as you fight over locations and earn the points, the number on them is the points they're worth if you win the battle, you slide them over and you draw new ones. There are other ways that you can discard some of these as well as you play the game. Anytime you discard them, you draw another card to take its place. But anyway, so each player gets these 10 cards, the 10 warriors: monk, necromancer, assassin, wizard, paladin, ranger, druid, warrior, knight, and barbarian. Awesome artwork, big giant cards, love these. But and each card has a power of them, like how powerful they are in combat. So like this one is worth 0 in combat, where the barbarian is worth 9. And then each one has both a battle power and a legacy power. For example, the monk gains power equal to the base power of your opponent's battle champion, so that's why he has a 0. And Vital Strike is the legacy, so this is the first card on top of your legacy deck, which I'll explain in just a moment. Vital Strike, your opponent's battle champion may not activate its battle ability this turn. So basically, if that one was in your legacy, say like the druid couldn't do, you may rearrange your opponent's legacy pile in any order you choose. You take that ability away from them, because that would be their battle champion power. But anyway, so you play 3 rounds. A round lasts until each person has 1 card left in their hand. And to begin the games, you have to actually put a card into your legacy, kind of like your graveyard, if you will, your discard pile. So each person's going to choose a card out of their hand to put into the legacy deck, and that'll give you your first legacy power of the fight. Also, whoever puts the highest number of the legacy card there, basically making it so they can't fight in a combat because of the fact that you're putting them in your discard pile right away. You get the fate die. I'll explain the fate die here in a little bit, but basically it breaks ties, but there's a little more to it than that. So, each person will go through their cards, and I'm not really going to go too much into strategy here, but a lot of times, you know, you're sitting there, it's like, well, you don't want to use a really high number card, you know, because then you can't use them to fight with, and then, so you're kind of like hemming and hawing over what you want to pick. But we'll go ahead and just pick this Paladin, and you do put it face down, you don't show it immediately, then we'll go with the other player here, and, you know, let's have them pick the Assassin, because look at that legacy power. Increase your battle champion's power by 6, that's pretty powerful. So, we'll flip those over. So we have the Paladin and the Assassin. This person played a 4 versus the 2, so they're going to get the fate die to start the game. So, now you have to pick a battle champion for the first battle in the first location, the Ravager's Wastes. And each location has a special ability to it as well. In the Ravager's Waste, you add 1 power to any barbarians in the battle here. So, that seems very tantalizing, if you will, because the Barbarian has a 9 power as it is, and so, you know, you might, you know, want to put that there so you can get a 10, but remember, whoever they put down, as far as the fight goes, they get to add 6 from their Assassin. So, you know, as this player, you're like, well, I don't really want to, like, put my Barbarian down just to lose him, you know, in that situation, so maybe I can pick another option. So you kind of go through, and you'll notice, well, you know, it's a cat, but you'll notice that you have different abilities and different powers. And here you have like a warrior, this little dwarf dude, and this is battle power. You know, Stubborn Resolve. Your opponent's current legacy champion may not activate its legacy ability this turn. Well, that's pretty important, right? So maybe we'll do that. You know, we can maybe outthink our opponent. We'd have that 7 there, and then we're betting on the other player, you know, thinking, well, I'm going to add 6, so even if he puts a Barbarian down, that'll give him 10, so it's no big deal. You know, let me go ahead and just, I can probably, you know, pick something like, you know, a little less, you know, and I can probably even pick like a 4 or a 5, you know, and I'd still win the combat. And so we can go ahead and like a Ranger. It's like your opponent's battle champion may not activate its battle ability this turn, which is actually a pretty interesting thing because you do actually have to go in turn as far as like the number is. But if the other player is thinking, well, if they play, you know, like other Barbarian or whatever, to see if they can possibly beat me, the 5 plus 6 is 11. That's going to be more than the Barbarian anyway. And I'm gonna, so like let's say they play the Ranger, just so I can show you something neat. So they play that, and mind you, remember, everybody knows what everybody's cards are because everybody has the same cards. But then you're going to flip them over like so, and you have the Warrior versus the Ranger. Now, before you determine who wins the fight or anything like that, you have to activate battle abilities, and then you activate legacy abilities. And the person that has the highest number gets to activate their battle ability first. So, the Warrior, Stubborn Resolve, the opponent's current legacy champion may not activate its legacy ability, so he's not going to get to do that. The Ranger gets to go, and, you know, it's like ambush from above. Battle champion may not activate its battle ability. Well, unfortunately, because of the fact that he did not go before the Warrior, he does not get to use that ability. And so that is, we have a 7 versus a 5 right now. The Assassin won't get to use its ability. The Paladin's legacy ability is a Divine Shield. If you would lose the current combat by 4 or less, instead resolve it as a tie. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to lose, but that would be a very important card because of the fact that we have the Fate die, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So the Assassin, unfortunately, doesn't get to use their ability, so you go down to basically a 7 versus a 5. Nobody has a Barbarian. The Warrior wins. Player number 1 is going to get that 1 point for that location. You put that over to the side like that. Both of these cards now go like so. So the legacy ability of both the Warrior and the Ranger are going to take place in the next fight. So, like in the next fight, we'd have Warrior attack from below, reduce the power of your opponent's battle champion by the victory point value of the current location. You may also use the Warrior's base power instead of your battle champion's final power during the combat. So that's pretty good, right? And so then the Ranger's legacy ability is Hidden Path. You may rearrange the face-up locations in any way you want. So which is actually pretty important because maybe you can move a location to like something where it could assist you better, if you will, because of the fact that maybe here you have like the Temple of Shin-Ti-Lal, which is worth 4. Add 3 power to any monks that battle here. So when it comes time to it, if you get to shift the locations, maybe you move that location over to where you have a monk that's fighting right here. Now I'm not going to go through a bunch of rounds of this combat here because I just for brevity, if you will. But the situation you have is that each time you can see where you're using. You're not only thinking about how you're going to win the battle here, but you're looking ahead to the next battle and to the next battle, and you're looking ahead to what you're going to have to do the next turn. Because just winning 1 point isn't going to win you the game. You need to win lots of points, and you need to win multiple battles. And so you have to think ahead. So like here we have the Pit of Souls. You add 2 power to the Necromancers, the battle here. Nethalyara, add 2 power to any Druids. And then, like as I said, add 3 to the monks. So you have to look ahead. I don't want to use my druid yet, but do I want to use a necromancer now? Well, maybe not, because you increase necromancer's power by the number of champions in your legacy pile. So that's a guy you want to hold on to. Am I going to play out? Am I worried about him moving with the ranger, moving the locations around? And so you have all that going on. You have to take into effect what you have to use, what you think your opponent, what your opponent has left to use, and also the legacy abilities that they have. So you play until, as I said, you'll play and play like so and drop these, and I'm just putting them down, if you will, and so like that. And then the other player does the same thing, and like so, and that would make no sense. Necromancer, obviously, Necromancers get played last a lot. But anyway, and so when you get down to the end, like, you have a monk, and they have a paladin, and so you total up your points, and you're keeping track of those, and then you start over with the last card you have. That's the first card in your legacy, and then you start over again, and after this point, you would have gone through all your locations. And it's possible that you can go through all of your locations before you get down to your 1 card. If that happens, that ends the round as well. But then you shuffle this one up, and then you lay down 3 new locations, like so, and then you begin again. And like I said, you play 3 rounds, and whoever has the best score over 3 rounds wins the game. Now, I mentioned the fate die, and this is for when you tie. You can tie just by happenstance because of the fact that like you both played the same guy or same battle champion, and whatever it works out to be even, or like you have that paladin ability that makes a tie happen. When a tie happens, the person who has the fate die loses. However, they have the option of handing the fate die to the other player, and then they win. The downside to that is they add 1 to the total of the fate die. Let me find the 2 here, like so, and then they have it, and they have the same thing. If it ties, then they have to decide whether or not they want to hand it back. And each time you add 1 to the total. At the end of the round, whoever you get the bonus points, basically, whatever is on the fate die, and that can actually, and has in many times determined who wins the game. So you have a situation where this will get up to like 7 or 6 or something like that, and it's worth more just to lose the combat that you're involved in, so you can keep the die. So it's one of those. It's a cool little thing that basically makes sure that if you do end up having a tie or having in a deterministic game like this, it's a good way to break the ties instead of just like rolling a die and see who rolls higher. It makes it for a really good decision to make. So, all right, so there you go. That's how you play Strife. It's a really, really fun game. Like, it's really quick to teach, and it makes you think, and it challenges you, and you can kind of watch the tumblers click into place for both you and your opponent. It's got that fun, crinkly mind thinky thing going on, which I really enjoy in my card games. But let me tell you more about that in my conclusion right now. Alright, so there you go. That is how you play Strife Legacy of the Eternals. So, what did I like about the game? Well, I mean, I've kind of had a renaissance, if you will, about two-player combat games. And as I mentioned in my introduction, the part that I like is, of course, the open knowledge and the fact that, you know, this isn't like some weird deck building thing where, you know, oh, I put the best 18 cards together to make the best combo. No, I mean, this is this situation where it's like, I know what you have, you know what I have, now I gotta outthink you. And I gotta like, and then there's that weird, of course, you know, kind of weird Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck thing going on. It's like, so if you think that I think that you think that I think that I'm going to play that card, then I think that you think that I think that you think we'll play this card, you know. And so you kind of have this weird kind of, you know, seesaw, if you will, on every single turn. And the thing is that what makes games great, what makes games fun, it's meaningful decisions. It's where you've got to agonize over what you're going to pick of the myriad of options that you have. And you know, that for me is that fun, brain crinkly part of games that I enjoy so much. I do really also enjoy, I'm starting to really enjoy two-player games. You know, just me against one other person. And because, one, there's very little downtime, and two, you know, I win more often. Because the chances are I'm going to win. It's a flip of a coin, technically, I guess, unless the person is really a lot better than I am. And so I've played like 4- and 5-player games for so many years, and I'm just stink at them. And so it's fun to win every once in a while nowadays. But I just can't say enough about how cool it is. I mean, the artwork's cool. The bigger cards are cool. I've got big, giant, meaty hands, so palm of basketball. So it's one of those things where I always hated little tiny cards. I mean, even when I play poker and playing cards, they feel too tiny in my hands, and so it always kind of bothers me. So the bigger cards I really enjoy, and plus the bigger cards really makes that art pop, and it's really nice to look at. The game's just fun to look at too when you play. I mean, so it's got all those things going for it. It's challenging, it's quick, because of the fact, like, I'm going back to this open knowledge thing, because that it's the strategy of the game, not the luck of the card draw. It's a determinist game. I mean, you have to choose, you know, what you want to do, and how you're going to combine that with what you did the last turn. And I really like that. I like that about the game. You know, the best part about the game is the moment that you and your opponent pick your card and put it down, and there's that moment of the reveal, and then there's that kind of like anticipation moment where you're gonna totally destroy the person, or you know, they're gonna totally destroy you, and you after you played the game for a while, you know as soon as that card comes over, and so there's that wonderful moment of excitement there. I do like the addition of the fate die. I think that's a pretty cool little thing where it's like, we're tied, so nothing happens. Okay, I'll use it, I'll give it to you, and then, like, as it gains you know, value of being used, you know, so I mean, that's got a really good, meaningful decision going on there. And that's kind of like what I really like about this game, is that it seems like every single turn there's a nice, meaningful decision, you know, that's tough. And there's so many games out there that you have to go 2 or 3 rounds before you have that really tough decision, and then this one seems to give me one pretty much every time, every round that I play. So I like that. I like having my brain go all crinkly as I try to figure out exactly what I should do. So there you go, Strife, Legacy of the Eternals. If I guess, like, the whole thing is like, would I like this game if you like 2-player games? I think this is a great game for you. If you like a game that you can play with your buddy over a lunch hour, I think this is a perfect game for that. And if you just if you're looking for a game that, you know, is kind of pretty much almost devoid of randomness, and the entire thing is very deterministic, and I know there's a lot of people that really like you know, like I said, open knowledge games. I think this is something you have to put in your collection. So there you go. That is Legacy of the Eternals. If you have any questions about the game, please post those. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right. Bye-bye.